Following directions is something that we're taught when we're very small. And there are pros and cons to not following directions. We're going to talk about that today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's question comes from house cleaners, and it's a multiplicity of questions that I've packaged together to give this particular answer. There are a bunch of house cleaners that contact me on a day-to-day basis with things that have gone awry in their business. And if we individualize those things and we trace them back to customers' requests, what I'm finding is that a lot of house cleaners do not know how to follow directions or instructions. Now, I have a private Facebook group, and there are sometimes I will ask people for something. I need a piece of information from you. Here's the exact information that I need. There are most of the people that can follow directions, then there are a good chunk of them that cannot. So then I'll go back and I will explain, okay, so here's exactly what I need, and I will spell it out. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. There are people that still cannot follow directions, right? And so they submit information to me that is incomplete. So if you cannot follow directions, and if following directions is not in your wheelhouse, then you need to get some help if you're going on a bid for a customer. Because if a customer is giving you instructions, things they need done at their house, and you are not able to follow instructions, then you are not going to be able to serve that customer in a way that they expect. And you're going to get fired simply for the fact that you are bad at following instructions. Okay, so how do you learn how to follow instructions better? It comes back to a couple of things, and one of them is asking better questions. So when a customer gives you a piece of information and they say, what I would like done is I would like all of the mirrors in my house washed. Do you just mean all of the bathroom mirrors, or are there mirrors that I'm not seeing somewhere else in your house that you would also like to clean? And they might say, oh yes, on the back of every closet door I have a mirror. And it's a full-length mirror that I can open that closet door and I can stand across the room and I can see myself. Ah, isn't that an interesting question? Because you may get fired because the mirrors were not clean when you knew that you went through and you cleaned every one of the bathroom mirrors. But because the doors were closed on the closet, you didn't open up the closets and you never knew that there were mirrors on the backs of the closet doors. See how that works? So it's not that you did not follow instructions as much as it is you did not ask the right questions. Now, because a customer lives in their own house, it's very easy for them to forget that you do not live there. They know that there's a mirror on the back of every closet door, but you do not know that because you do not live there, right? And so you have to ask for clarification. This is an awesome way to do this when you're doing the initial walkthrough with the customer. So I always ask, and this is just one of my go-to questions. I hate breaking things. And so if there's something that's really fragile, that's just kind of teetering on a ledge, and you know it's really fragile, and when you walk by, you kind of tiptoe by it so it doesn't fall crashing to its death, will you point that out for me? Because I don't want to walk by in my normal rushed pace, have that fall off the shelf and I bust it and I feel bad and I didn't know it was an irreplaceable heirloom. And people go, yeah, in fact, there are several of those in my house. And they will point them out to me. And it will be crazy stuff. Like there will be a mirror hanging on a wall by one nail. Okay, well, if I just started cleaning that and I moved it around, it's going to fall crashing to its death. But if I know that, I can brace it with one hand while I clean it and then gently remove my hand, and the mirror still sits on that one nail, right? Okay, so are you good at following instructions? If you're not, you need to become a pro at it. Because even though you know your business, and even though cleaning is in the back of your mind and you can do it with your hands tied behind your back and your eyes closed, actually you can't, you need your hands. But because you know it so well, it's easy in our business to assume that the customer is going to give us the information, right? Oh, this is bad. The customer assumes you know your way around their house. We assume the customer is going to tell us what we need in order to do our job correctly. Wow, that's a lot of assumptions. All right, the answer is we don't know our way around the customer's house, and the customer doesn't know how we work. So there has to be a lot of communication in order for us to be able to follow and execute instructions and directions. So starting today, I don't want to get any more emails from people or texts or phone calls of like, hey, my customer fired me because of this, that, and the other. And we trace it back to, it's because you cannot follow instructions. If you are not able to follow instructions, ask for clarity. Ask for more information. Ask for understanding. Now, it happens every day. People ask me questions. And I scratch my head. I'm like, wow, I have no idea what the answer to that question is because I have no idea what the question is. And I have to send a note back and say, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Can you please rephrase the question and use different words so that I will understand it and can provide you with a better answer? And so there are times that even I get questions and I sit here and I scratch my head and I'm like, is that a question? Or is this person just writing me a little piece of their diary? I mean, I have no idea. But if I'm expected to respond, I need to understand so that I can follow instructions or I can follow direction or I can offer assistance. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So if you're not great at following instructions, ask for clarity. And that's my 2 cents. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.